not perfect because this is where I ran out of paint.
Yeah.
But
Look at these.
but aren't they cool? They
I
just
love
like
these.
look pretty.
Yeah.
This one's the spray paint, so I gotta do more of
Makes
that.
no
And this was my
difference.
first one. Well, you can just tell in the like. Yeah, you can tell a little. I did too much.
So the spray paint is more of like it's almost like a more intense and solid, whereas the airbrush you can kind of control the density of it more.
Yeah, and
yeah,
then
so it's softer.
Also, it's yeah, exactly. I think it's like yeah, of course.
I saw there's a few painting and drawing positions.
Where? And then I ran out of paint for this one.
Wow, those are great.
But also, I had the first color I made of purple was this.
Yeah.
I was thinking it could be cool to paint this a different color.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, it's working like really well. This was the first one I did, so you could see there's like bad splotchiness here because I didn't really know how to use it. And then this one, I was also running out of paint, but I feel like it looks good.
Yeah, it's nice.
I like how like light they are, like
physically.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all. I mean, there's different types of wood. So.
Yeah. And does it matter which pieces connect? Is that the?
No. Well, that's what I'm gonna decide later.
It's kind of like my stacking rocks thing.
Yes,
that I've got
been
going
thinking that also. I also took pictures that his name right now, but he did these things in the desert. They're like.
Is that what we were just talking about? The earth things in the desert?
No.
Oh.
No, because these are just rocks, so they're like in a vertical line, and they're painted bright colors.
Huh.
And they're just in the desert.
Yeah, it's like a famous sculpture.
Yeah.
Who did that?
Who did that?
Not Christo. He does wrapping things. So
No, but I was making different arrangements of these on the rock there yesterday, and this is like looks just like that.
Oh wow,
piece,
that's so cool.
But in small, and not the right colors.
Wow,
but you know, the
that's
same
great.
idea.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Well, that's an interesting idea. Have you thought about staging these in little little scenes and having like a photographic version of them? Like,
yeah, well, that's
like
what I'm
in the
thinking I'm
bamboo
gonna do
or on
for
the dirt or whatever.
For the poster, at least for the show.
Oh,
I'm gonna do
fun.
something like either that or.
Let me see.
I can just send you this picture if you want it.
Cool. Yeah.
Because that will probably be better quality. Or like this one that I posted on Instagram.
Yeah, I saw that one. I was
yeah.
like, oh, these are beautiful.
Wow.
They're so
That's
like
awesome.
they remind me of painting so much, like just really big pop art paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the fun thing about these also is that like you could just, for some reason, they mostly just sit on top of each other. Like it's not perfect. Sometimes they fall, but I just like that I just keep making different things.
See, now my flat rock stacking thing is kind of like.
No, totally. It totally makes sense to me.
They have a lot of like versatility.
Also, look at how crazy there. You could kind of see a little flower in the grass.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
And a
Let's see, hold
corner.
on.
Like I don't know what
like
happened.
that.
The airbrush can get around it better.
Yeah.
And then also I used that plastic thing that bag I was spraying on it.
That's neat. Yeah, I saw that, which is obviously great. Yeah, it's just a piece of trash. Yeah. It's just like something to cover the sticks so they don't get too wet.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, this is great.
Are you introducing more colors? Or are you
Yes, that's what I want to do now because I want the bright colors like the red and the pink to be few, and these more pastel-y ones to be the more of the colors. So I gotta do that, and then I also want to make some of them have like more decoration, just because.
Like some of the ones that you have inside are painted. Yeah.
I even like the idea of having like these as a decoration, like
I
blocks of
know,
color.
but how do I do that? That was by accident.
Yeah,
Okay, so happy accidents are great. So like, how can we recreate a happy accident?
I don't know how to.
So like in photography, to do a dodge and burn, you have cardboard that you would put in front of something, right? Or you would have cut out cardboard on a stick and that's how you would do it in a dark room, right? To block light, so you could add light to the thing. Maybe there's some sort of device that you could make that you kind of like shove in there while you're doing the airbrush, and like, you know, kind of like make it like a little mask.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it seems like that's what happened.
Yeah.
Right? But I just didn't realize I was doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can give you some.
I know what happened there.
What happened?
That's your pink spray paint, right?
Yeah.
But then yesterday, all of that overspray was getting over everything.
Yeah.
So this has purple on it.
Nuh-uh, really?
Yeah.
Does it have purple, or is it just
Are you sure about
Yep.
that? How can you tell? I did
That's
more
what
than one
overspray looks
spray
like.
on.
That's-
Oh.
No, it looks like
had
it
it
got
next
blocked
to-
from something.
You had it next to something else while you were.
Like glazed it.
But
So
still, I
weird.
think
That
that
makes
would work, like
sense.
some sort of like
Yeah.
dodge burn tool, maybe.
Oh, and like translucency and opacity.
Yeah.
Yeah, because right, you could tell with this one, like this is lighter,
Yeah. Yep.
the same
exactly.
color, but like it got darker here because I didn't run out yet.
Yeah.
But that's why I need to mix up bigger
Yeah, no
colors. 'Cause
problem.
I kept running because you have to clean it for every.
Yeah.
So you have to take it
time.
apart
So you
each
have to
time.
Well, this one
Mm-hmm.
has a very complicated thing. You have to take it apart each time. This one is easier, and it also is more comfortable to use. But this one connects.
So this is the thing that you hold.
Yeah, it's like this.
Oh yeah.
And you put the paint in over here.
Oh cool. And does it have a hose?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
right. Where did I just put it? Oh, it's right here.
Right.
So this is the hose, and it attaches here.
I see.
And then obviously this has to be plugged in, and then the
Right.
pressure turns on.
Oh,
and
neat.
then this is also cool with this particular one. Oh, I need the piece. You can control the flow and the paint, like the air and the paint.
Neat. Super fun.
Yeah, it's really fun to use.
It seems really like complex, but I feel like you'd get a hang of it really
Well, that's
easily.
yeah, exactly. I did watch a short YouTube video, but I really just needed to play around with it.
Yeah.
Like, but this one you just have to take apart these things to clean it, just like two little things. This one, it's like
Oh, this one came with this.
yeah, exactly. Oh no, there's a piece that I'm missing. Oh, that's not good. There's a little. Oh, here it is. Oh
Oh my gosh. That's
This-
scary.
Because this, you have to put this in here to. Hold on. Okay. This holds it so that it's basically like. Because this twists and untwists, but you need this to stay in. Like, do you get what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I think I'm doing this wrong right now.
That was neat.
Something is supposed to go here.
It's really complex.
I know. So this one is not as good because of that. Oh, there it goes
Awesome.
under
I
there.
see.
There it goes. And then it holds it in place, and then this you can connect to these so that you can have the paint, like more paint
Oh yeah.
going in.
Yeah.
And then this opens the hole to like let the pressure through,
Uh-huh.
but the air comes in over there.
Yeah. I bet you can make jars like that, huh?
Yeah, and then you can. I mean, the problem is.
I wonder if
that
they
you
sell
need-
these kind of jars with the lids.
Yeah, I bet they do. Also, because it came with this. Like, I don't know what this is supposed to do. A different one, you know?
Is that a
Not
jar? Is
sure.
that a lid?
It looks like it, doesn't it? I don't know what it is. They didn't explain what any of this stuff is, so it's just here. But
Looks like another lid.
yeah,
Interesting.
but I like this one.
That's awesome. So exciting.
thinking about doing like the purple and yellow together maybe, and then like purple, red, yellow, like. But I don't know if this is how they're gonna be. Like I just really like exactly how that is, but the other ones, I know it's
nice.
there's
Look at this
similar
one.
things.
Little flowers.
Yeah. And then these ones I want to put on a dark background, and they're, I mean, maybe not in that arrangement, but they're kind of like water.
Yeah. Water vibe.
Something like
that. That's great. Where's the one with the, oh, there it is. With the eggshells on it. Yeah.
Oh, that's sprinkle.
Lovely.
So my list so far is just A Wrinkle in Time, The Giver.
Yep.
And I didn't write it down, but from the mixed up files of Miss Basil Frankweiler. And yeah, I have to think about more.
That's great.
But it's just like these really make me think about being a kid. Like they feel like toys, you know?
Yeah.
Or blocks or something. Like look at this one. Like, doesn't that feel like
totally.
Like blocks, like we used to have wooden blocks that had letters, and they were like each painted a different color.
Yeah.
So that feels like that to me.
Yeah. Is this the first time you've used small blocks like this?
Yeah, because I've never really done a lot of things out of wood, so it just, even though I'm painting them, it just still is wood, so it like feels like that.
Yeah.
As opposed to like
the fabric things that you've made,
or paper mache. Yeah, like I guess the fabric things feel like toys, but that's a really different kind of toy because it's stuffed animal type.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, these are lovely little. They are childlike but adult at the same time, right?
And then also I made this one. Oh no! Shoot, I'll have to paint that again. It's fine.
You sure?
Yeah, because I have this color. It's right here.
Okay.
But so this shape, I made two stuffed shapes that fit into each other like that, and they were in my thesis show. They were like in a corner hugging. So I thought I would try to make it out of wood. It doesn't look the same, but like this one can only stand if it's on this one. Otherwise, it can't hold itself up.
That's nice.
So no one will get that reference except for me, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's great. But isn't this a little transparent? Will that wipe off at all, or no?
I probably should wipe it off. That's a good point. Where's my?
Yeah, accidents happen. Yeah, yeah. These are. I like the ones that are like sandwiched together. Kind of the same thing. Yeah, that one's neat.
Yeah, well, that's how I cut them, but I don't really like how the colors go together, so I don't know what I should do about that. Maybe paint them again or something. Because it's just like kind of ugly.
Yeah, and this also reminds me, like I was telling you about, my like obsession with flat rocks, stacking rocks.
Yes.
Right.
Totally.
But they're.
And some of them are flat, like these ones.
Flat.
And I think that.
But then they balance them. Like this
also,
one is balancing.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that.
So, I mean, it's kind of fun that so many of them, like, look at how that just sits on there. But I do have museum wax, so I'm going to play with, like, going higher and just cheating by using the wax.
Yeah.
Because you won't be able to see this, so it can hold things together, and you'll be like, how does it stand?
Interesting. Well, there's, like, a term for this rock stacking.
Oh, yeah. I actually have seen that, like, in, we went on a hike in Arkansas once where someone had done that and just left it.
Yeah. And it has something to do with, like, you know, the balance of things, and that it's like sometimes super unexpected. Oh yeah, there you go. Got it off of there.
It's all good now.
No more green. Yeah, that's great.
This one is going to be green, so it's like going to be green.
Oh, green and pink. Okay.
So that, you know, complementary colors. Also, what I love about that neon is it shines on things under it. So these guys are going to have to be on white or something.
Mm.
Or maybe I'll paint the bottom hot pink so that it could
Oh yeah,
like
rest
glow.
like that. Yeah, yeah, nice.
That's a thing that I've been doing for so long with this hot pink specifically. I can't get over it. It looks so cool. I just love it. So I just do it all the time.
Yeah.
Just like put a little hot pink in a little corner.
Right.
And then it's on something white, so it
Right.
turns
It glows.
pink.
Yeah. Well, you can see Pepper Patrol over there was Hannah's pink obsession. Yeah. Pink is fun.
Yeah.
And I think that it's even more fun when you have it in unexpected places, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I made this paper mache piece during my post back
Mm-hmm.
where like it hung on the wall and it had kind of like a mouth opening at one end, and I painted the inside of it this color, but the rest of it was white, and then it was the same white as the wall. So it was kind of like just this weird thing coming out of the wall, but then it glowed.
Had this like glowing pink inside. Yeah.
It was very nice.
Great.
Kind of cozy, but that's okay.
No, you're fine. This is your second residency that you've done? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like really a different experience though, because I came here knowing that I had this thing that I needed to work on. Because I have a show this week. Last time it was just I was done with grad school and I traveled for a bit, and then I went to this residency, and it kind of like at the residency I didn't know what I was doing, so I just started playing around with stuff, and then I came up with something that turned into a show. Like a year later, really, or a year later.
So you were saying a minute ago that you don't work with wood, so this is something new.
Yeah.
Was that the original goal for this exhibit that you're working on?
Well, yeah, kind of. I guess it's like an experiment. I feel like, but also, I think that just like my family is like, I sent them some pictures of this, and they were like, oh, Alex is really rubbing off on you because I'm using wood now, and he always does. But I think that like he made his own shop this last year, and so it made it easy for me to just try things. And so at first he was like, use the bandsaw, and I was like, I'm scared. And then eventually I was like, oh, this is kind of fun actually.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool to just do a bunch of these weird shapes and just see what happens. And so that's where this happened. Then I just emailed the person. Oh, did I get paint on my face? Okay. I emailed the person who's like the director of the studio stuff, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of like in a place where it would be a good time to put things together, see how it is. She was like, okay, great, how about June? And I was like, perfect.
That's funny. Yeah, that's great. So you've kind of transitioned from traditional painting to making installations and using a lot of fabric and paper mache, right? So you kind of started as a painter, but you've moved into more three-dimensional with painting or with imagery.
I mean, I think that I kind of always was also doing three-dimensional things at the same time as painting. Like my undergrad thesis had a few oil paintings on canvas, and then it had like these things that were partly painting, partly sculpture things, and then 2 things that were just sculpture. Like I didn't paint on them at all. And I think like because I studied visual studies, I wasn't in the like traditional BFA, so it felt a little more free to just do whatever. But then also, and my major was an interdisciplinary major, so it's kind of like
I see.
Felt normal to be doing things that were sort of in between and interdisciplinary. Bless you. But then I also think that like I do come at things from a painting like mindset. So I feel like Like I sometimes
In terms of like color and composition.
yeah. So like what I'm thinking about when I'm trying to make something, I feel like it's different from what someone who's a sculptor, in quotes,
Right.
would think about at first.
Right.
And so, you know, like something like in the round and like how your body relates to it, that's something that came to me a lot later after doing these kinds of things over and over. And I was in the beginning of grad school, I did some big installations, but I painted the wall and the floor and then put a sculpture that was also painted inside of that space. And so it was really like still a painting,
but a three-dimensional
because there would
painting.
be certain vantage points that were like the best ones, you know?
Interesting. Yeah.
And then, and I think that's going to be the same thing with these. Like I have been painting all the sides and like thinking about the whole thing, because in my mind these are blocks that you can move around. But in the actual show that's coming up, it's just going to be one main vantage point, just because no one's going to be able to touch them. Yeah. And the space. Yeah. So I don't know, and I kind of have this idea that instead of thinking like we need to be true to our medium in terms of what materials we use or whatever, I think it could be more like how we talk about things. And so like if you talk about composition, you talk about color, you know, you might
What's the matter, Millie? What happened? Hi, baby.
You might like use painting ideas to think about it.
Right.
Even though that thing could be three-dimensional, or it could be a video.
Right.
And I think that's
because like Alex says, you don't paint wood.
Right.
And you're painting wood.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's because he's a sculptor.
Right. Exactly. That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're coming at it from different vantage point.
And I don't think that is a bad thing. It's like kind of weird, because on the one hand, I was in a critique once in grad school. It wasn't my critique, it was someone else's, and they were a sculptor, and so it was mostly sculpture faculty there. And I said something about the color of the piece, and one of the faculty was like, "Well, you would think about the color." And that was it. Like, it was like kind of dismissive, and I was just like, yeah, but the thing is, if you're going to make a sculpture and include color, like, then you need to think about it. So it's not like stupid that I'm thinking about the color. It's right there. It's part of it. Why did you choose to make it red and yellow and blue?
Right.
If you didn't care about red and yellow and blue, then choose a different color.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like, color really conveys a lot.
Yeah.
I think. And like emotions, or just like some kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And the way colors are next to each other and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it matters.
I do too. Yeah. It's interesting that you're talking about the blocks and looking at them from different perspectives. I don't know too much about it, but the Japanese gardens are intended to be like the little rocks are placed in a point, and there's certain a number of rocks, and they're placed in certain places so that when you're walking around, it looks like mountain ranges, right? So you're getting different perspectives from walking around a space like that.
Yeah.
So I love that and you also were talking about your work kind of being acute, wanting to do cute. And has that been a thing that you've been doing for a while?
Yeah, I think that I articulated it in grad school.
She's sneezing.
Hi, baby. But I feel like that's something I always have been doing unconsciously. Are you okay? What's wrong?
Hi, baby.
Millie.
Millie. Hi. What's the matter?
Is it from... Oh, she still has dirt on her nose from when we were just in the woods, so...
Millie, you only have 2 more days, baby.
I know, Millie. Are you going to be so sad to go home? Oh no!
She's like, what are you talking about? I have to leave?
This is not our home. No, it's not. I
Hi,
know,
baby.
we really are gonna have to figure out how to keep her this active.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so good. I mean, earlier for like an hour, she was just like running, and then she would stop to chew something or sniff something, and then run again.
Oh,
Like,
so sweet.
oh my gosh, it's closing her eyes.
Is Mama talking to you? Is Mama talking about you?
Yes.
Hi. Yeah. So
Yeah, so cuteness.
cuteness. Yeah, and then I have another question for you. But cuteness.
So yeah, I mean, like, I think that there's a lot of things to say about cuteness, but
like scale, I think, is something.
yeah,
Right.
and also, yeah, like maybe this even comes from like what I was saying the other night about my major and how it was like I felt like I didn't have to be tied to it, or I was even intimidated by the history of painting and like how big and grand and important it is. So I feel like cuteness is something even in that way. If you make cute paintings and sculptures, and they don't have to be as much like, oh look, I'm a serious painter.
Yeah.
The history of painting, which is so serious.
There's so much pressure.
Yeah. And but at the same time, like I think cuteness is interesting because it's like this thing that seems pathetic almost or like helpless, but we care about it.
Yeah.
Or like for me, if I see a cute thing like my dog, I just like kind of like turn into a pile of mush for a while. And so it has some kind of impact.
Yeah.
There's some kind of power.
The object.
Yeah. And so I think it matters.
Right.
Know?
And that's what you were, the other night you were showing a little video that you had done of an installation of the objects that you were making that were fabric and stuffed, right? And that they had like a doll quality to them. And these, you were talking about, these feel like building blocks, like child blocks, but that they're unique shapes and colors that you might not expect on something like that. Yeah. So kind of channeling that. And then you've decided to title these after your favorite books, because you're just your childhood books, because you just love books, which I think is really interesting. And books are objects and artifacts, right?
Oh, I didn't think of it like that. I was thinking of it, but that is really interesting. Like, I was thinking about just fiction and how when I like kids playing with toys and blocks and things, you're like making up things in your head about what's happening. And then I also did that with books all the time. Like I just would like just go and live in the book for a long time. I still do that, I guess, but it was, probably more of a coping mechanism back then.
Yeah.
So it's like, good and bad, but
yeah.
But it would be nice also, like, I think when you say, like, if I say or hear someone say the title of a certain book, like A Wrinkle in Time, that was such a huge book for me when I was a kid. So it's like gives me the feeling of that world of the book. And so then I could have like a little world, and it won't look like A Wrinkle in Time, but like
your interpretation,
could, like,
an interpretation.
Well, I don't even know if it has to actually be like, oh, this one's A Wrinkle in Time, obviously, but more like just calling it that makes you start to think about like, how could this be that?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And it's like kind of sounds like a trick, and I don't really mean it like that. I just mean like, I don't know, normally I just title the show something, and then everything inside of it is like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I just thought it could be, really this is where the thought came from, is that one of the parts of this experiment is like just having these kind of discrete things instead of a whole installation that is like, I need to consider every single part of the space. But if instead I could just have like a few things on pedestals, a few discrete, like here's a panel with a shelf and that's a piece.
Right.
Instead of, and because I think I always go the other way to just try to like think of the whole thing, and I haven't been satisfied with how any of those have turned out really, except maybe for my thesis show in grad school. So, but I've done that so many times. I kind of am like, what if I just made this is one thing, so it needs to have its own title.
Right.
And so then I was thinking about like, well, what could these titles be? These are kind of like worlds maybe, so it could be the worlds of the books that I liked as a kid.
Nice.
So that's like
that's
how
great.
I thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kind of the layered meaning, it all really works really well together, and it seems like an evolution of your creative process is happening, which is really cool. So yeah. So because Alex applied for the residency, so what were your maybe expectations and how has it been?
I didn't really know like if I would be considered a resident too, because he applied.
Right.
So I was like, I have to do this stuff for my show, so like I'll work on it, whatever, but like I wasn't sure what that was going to be like I didn't expect a space to do it or anything. I just was going to kind of like find somewhere and just do it. So yeah, that's been cool. I mean, I feel like I'm part of it too.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I didn't like expect that, or I don't know, I wasn't sure. And yeah, it's been just amazing with Millie.
Yeah.
Here. I mean, like there's so many parts, especially in the people that we've met here, that feel like, of course, we have to do this at this time.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But like that's just, she's so happy here, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Which is a whole nother story of of shy dog and old dog and a lone dog, and all of a sudden she's running laps in the field like a,
and so happy with her tongue hanging out, like, giant smile on her face. Crazy. It's awesome.
That's been really great. Yeah. And you guys are about 5 or 6 hours from the house, from where you live right now?
I think it's like 7.
7. Okay. Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's not too far, but different terrain and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and also we live like in a college town, so it's not quite the cities that I'm used to from where, growing up in Chicago, but it is still a city.
Yeah.
So
so we're out kind of not city.
Yeah.
The antithesis of city.
Yeah, and I think also like we came right after school ended for Alex, so he was like happy to have a complete change of pace for a month after that, and I think it's been good.
Cool. Yeah, and a lot of just really random things have happened, right? With like random people and just.
I know, it does feel like we've been here for like so long.
Yeah.
In some ways, just because we were here alone for a few days, and then Al came.
Right.
And all of that feels like a whole other chapter.
Right.
Because now it's like,
and then these
guys,
other people.
like I'm like, oh,
you guys have been like the welcome
people.
wagon for everybody.
True, but
this
it's
month.
like Elena and Jess and Leanne. I'm like, oh, these are our people.
Yeah.
They weren't here the whole time. So it's just funny how that happens.
Yeah. And how's the space been? You have the queen room.
Oh yeah, the space is good. I like that room. Yeah, it's great. It's just like a nice amount of space that we don't actually need, but like it's nice to have.
Yeah.
And I like that we had our own bathroom. That was good.
Yeah. Well, I like to put couples in a space like that, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? So you have your own space, and for a month it makes sense. Yeah.
It worked out.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it's going to be really strange not having you guys around. I hope you can come back sometime. What do you think is next for you and your work now that you've created this volume of things? Like, look at all this work.
don't
You're still
know.
working on it.
I have like a project idea that I had before this whole thing came about that I kind of shelved for a while, but that I might want to try to do, which is to make a wood shop out of fabric. Just
Right.
like all the big tools, but make them soft sculptures.
Huh.
And they won't work, but
Right.
they'll just be in the
Right,
space.
right,
Like
right.
that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
But it's also like I feel like I won't do that unless I, propose it to a space and they say
Right.
yes, because it's just like, where would I keep all that stuff? I
Yeah.
don't know. But that's an idea I have because to me it would be about, or partly about, like not knowing how to fix a broken world. So making
machines that don't work.
that can't do anything. Feels like it would be part of that somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know what else.
Yeah. Well, do you consider when you kind of in normal life, how much time are you spending on your artwork? Because it seems like you've had pretty good opportunities with galleries and things like that. So you're doing a lot of work and showing your work. Are you spending a lot of time on your art in kind of normal life?
Yeah, I am. I'm really lucky to have like part-time jobs that support me right now, that are good and flexible. So I do, like, not every day, but I go to my studio many days a week, not the whole day.
Yeah.
Just like for a few hours maybe here and there.
Nice.
So yeah, I do feel like I get to do like a good chunk, and it's interesting having a partner who's also an artist, because like we do
art things together.
Yeah, or like we both understand that we both want to do work sometimes.
Yeah.
On the weekend, but like we try to do, Friday night and Saturday the whole day, just like home days most of the time. If things are going on, then we'll break those rules, but like we do kind of like the whole Friday night and Saturday just at home together and hanging out, and then Sunday is like a studio day. Yeah, so
that's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
I mean, it's like I probably am doing more here in a certain sense, because some days I don't do any work, like
right
job work.
So having that chunk of month time, you've been really busy. Yeah, but you've found time to do other things. What do you think is, because we've been talking, like it feels like camp right now, so what do you feel like outside of doing your work has been the most fun thing for you for summer camp?
Yeah, I mean the people.
Yeah.
And I really like going down to the water, just like going on a walk in the woods.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've been playing cards a lot.
Yeah.
At night, so that's fun.
Yeah, it's been really weird in a pandemic not being around people, but Alex was working and you were kind of at home, right? Yeah. So this is really the first time for a lot of us to be around people right now, right?
It's like really cool, actually. I feel really good about that. And because I did see one friend during the last several months, like the last 8 or year, occasionally, but like it was always a little bit stressful, because at first you're like, okay, we have to meet outside, and then I was like, oh well, you're my only friend that I'm seeing, so maybe we could be inside, but I still felt like a little bit stressed out about it. So I went to her house, but then also was like sitting far away from her still, just like, and then but yeah, then we were vaccinated, so now I feel like a lot better about that, but still there's only one friend. Yeah. And so there is something nice to just feel like all the time like there's people around. I really did miss having friends,
Yeah.
It's been hard to not. And all
Yeah.
my friends live in different places.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Because
even if
you've only lived in Arkansas for like a year or two,
yeah,
right?
almost
Yeah.
a year.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I only moved during the pandemic.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
but even then, I had moved right before to Chicago to move back home and like start doing some other stuff and be closer to Alex, but not move to Arkansas. Kind of
Yeah.
thing. But I so like even though I'm from Chicago, I didn't really have any friends there except for one friend from high school, or
Mhm.
really I've known her since 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like I didn't know anyone there anymore. So I was like feeling like I didn't have friends already
Mm-hmm.
from October to March because I
Mm-hmm.
moved there in October of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like slowly trying to figure out like how am I going to make new friends, you know, like I went to one art opening and then whatever, like, you know, and it was slow because also I didn't know a pandemic was coming. So I was like, okay, I'm in Chicago, so I have time to find friends
Right.
and figure out how. But then I didn't find any, and everything shut down. So like it feels like it's been a really really long time having a group of friends to hang out with. So yeah, it's been really good having that here.
Yeah.
I feel like there are people that, I mean, who knows when we'll see each other again, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that we'll
stay in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. And I hope you guys will come back again
Yeah.
soon. If not, if
so
not
too.
next year.
I
That'd be
told
great.
my cousin to apply.
Awesome.
She has a husband and a baby, and I was like, you could totally come.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And then, especially if you guys have broadband by then, then her husband could work.
Right.
And she could do art stuff.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Broadband's going to change the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's been fantastic, and I hope to see some more pictures of the show when it's all up and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna do that.
Awesome.
I'm really not the best at posting on Instagram, but I will.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Also, like at some point, I'll update my website too, probably.
Yeah. And maybe when do you think you'll be packing up stuff here so I can just take a couple more like little photos?
Well,
tomorrow.
I am gonna do some tests.
Okay.
With the
Let me go
parchment
grab
paper.
the packing material and come back up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank
I'll do
you.
that. Okay. Well, yeah, it's been fantastic. All right.